they're lining up. There is Mike Brown in the middle of the shot, and we're going to be underway for gold in the Enduro Cross. Down to the first corner, Blazusiak on the inside, Brown getting caught up, and he's nearly dead last. Oh my goodness me, an upset has happened immediately at the beginning of 10 laps. Now he's got to keep his cool, leading as they go into the logs for the first time.
Is that David Knight in the lead?
I think it might be Knighter, and 101 Blazusiak. It's Blazusiak and Knight, you couldn't make it up.
Oh my word. Now these two riders going back to 2007 battled it out. Knight was in position for a $50,000 payday. Blazusiak came to his first Enduro Cross, took the win, and dashed the chances for that $50,000. So much has been made of that. But here is Blazusiak for the Red Bull KTM going to the front of the group. A very familiar position for him. You don't see him make a lot of mistakes while he's leading. We have seen mistakes from him so far today, 2 in qualifying and 1 in his heat race, all in this very section.
I have to repeat what I said in the heat. The toughest obstacle here is not the rocks, it's not the wood, it's not the jumps, it is the dirt. The water is being dragged out all around this racetrack. There is Cody Webb in second position on the number 2 beater on the stroker against the KTM 4-stroke.
Oh, look at this, Blazusiak not going to double, and here goes Webb into the lead. He doubles. Not only does he get by Blazusiak, he shows him a bit of a shoulder on the way by. I don't think it was on purpose, but this is a totally different Cody Webb. This is a guy who did not grow up racing elbow to elbow. He grew up riding trials. As did Taddy Blazusiak, Webb has become more and more familiar. He has worked harder and harder. And here, a problem. And here comes Blazusiak.
And he goes through. Level pegging. We're only on lap 2 of 10 around this quarter-mile Enduro Cross circuit. We're going to concentrate on these guys. David Knight is still in 3rd position. He's a rookie here at XGames. Blazusiak, of course, gold winner in 2011. 2012 didn't shake out for him. He was 4th. He didn't go home with any medal at all. He just went home with a motorcycle. Now then, which is the quicker line? Webb took the quick inside line on the last lap, Cam, and again, there's nothing between them, even Stevens.
He's not worried about using that inside line. Again, the trial skills. Both riders coming from a trials background. Let us not forget also, though, we talked about Webb not having a lot of racing background as they go. They are side by side. Now, look at this. Blocking. Blazusiak goes to the outside and takes the double jump. He lost position because of that a lap ago, but this time he defends it.
Yeah, it's a bigger jump when you go on the outside into the beginning of those triple logs, but already that's quarter of a lap ago as the KTM leads the beater at the moment. Well. Now, David Knight, he's still in 3rd position.
Different lines, and it looks like Webb trying to make the move stick. He's not able to, but he definitely comes up and shows the wheel.
Now he takes the lead as Blazusiak has to put a foot down, but it's still even Stevens as they go into the water. Different styles. Blazusiak jumping further over the log that's underwater as they come into the rock hairpin for this, the 3rd time.
Here it is
Look
again.
at the lines.
Webb going to the inside, and he makes it work for him.
It works. That's 5 passes that we've had so far, and we're only a 3rd into this final. This is big.
And Blazusiak has given a little bit of gap here. We'll see now what we're wondering because of the speed of Webb in qualifying. Now that he has clear air, if he can break away, get a corner away from Blazusiak, he can start running his fast lines. He doesn't have to protect. And we'll see if Webb can make a gap. Remember, he was your fastest qualifier, but Webb was perfect in qualifying where Blazusiak had 2 falls, so we're not really sure what he would have been capable of had he not gone down. And here, another problem for Webb.
Well, Blazusiak 17th in qualifying out of the 24 runners and riders, but he got into the final, that's the main thing, and we're in that final now. That's the difficult bit on the way down out of the rocks over that final log. Blazusiak, the pole, in that 2nd position. There's David Knight at the top of your screen. No, it's Grafunda who's in 3rd position.
Oh, and Webb goes down. We talk about the slippery dirt, and it bites Webb. He has the presence of mind. It looked like he held on to his grips, though, not allowing his hands to get muddy. He's going to take the pass back for the lead. Look how much water has been drug around this course. Now, Cody Webb, we talk about his trials background. He's from Santa Cruz, California. The number 2 on his bike is indicative of the fact that he was 2nd in the AMA Enduro Cross Series last year. So he is always...
Oh,
Webb is down again!
was second in the Enduro Cross Championships, and guess who? The bloke who's now leading. It's Blazusiak, reigning champion in the AMA Enduro Cross Series. Now that's a big lead, and he will have seen Brown go down. Now he's got to have his inner chip eating on the inside of his crash helmet, but he can keep his cool. Or can he? Goodness me, we're only halfway through.
Well, Blazusiak, no stranger to leading. We've seen some lead changes. We're looking at the gap now. One thing to think about, that time around, when Webb went down, his hands did hit the dirt, so he is going to have mud on his gloves, which is going to be another factor you have to take into consideration. Now, everybody has been riding with wet hands from that water obstacle, but having mud on the palm of your gloves, not a good thing when you're trying to ride this very tough Enduro X course.
There's your leader, 111 aboard the Works KTM from Mattighofen in Austria. Kronreif, Trunk and Poltz, they were the two guys who set the company up. In Mattighofen, that's the M. Sideways, you got to go around the outside to try and avoid the water there. It's so clay-like, isn't it? It's absolutely like a slip almost. Like you're making pottery with this sort of chocolate cake kind of coloured.
And here's the battle. David Knight has now moved into that second position over Webb. So now David Knight from the Isle of Man, so much has been made of his skills. Now he had some time off due to surgeries, hip issues, and he really is enthused with the finishes he had in the World Enduro Cross Series and Super Enduro they call it, where he had a couple of main event wins and beating Taddy Blazusiak.
Well, Blazusiak still leads this race. One thing that David Knight did make me laugh about whilst we were walking the course earlier today, Cam, was every time he said I'd walk this racetrack, it just seems to get worse. What's it like now?
Well, without a doubt, the most heralded tough enduro, the hard enduro that everybody longs to be the champion of, is the Erzberg Rodeo. Taddy Blazusiak has won that a handful of times. He is nothing short of amazing. This is how he made his transformation into the motorcycle racing world. He came out on a whim and showed such great skill, I understand, that he was offered a motorcycle to ride and went on to win the event.
Yeah, it's in an open cast mine in Austria, and he's won it 5 times. And, well, it's like going up the face of the Eiger, it is. But he's managed to keep his cool and get to the line and be the victor. Meanwhile, that's your third position man, Webb, just going out of shots. No, he's swapped back to second position, so Knight has had a problem and dropped back to third at the moment.
And there's been much made of the injury to David Knight's hand. I'm wondering at this point how it's feeling after the heat race and getting to this main event.
Well, David Knight has just had his girlfriend's just had a baby. He says, I've come here for a rest. Really?
Choosing that left line, very methodical. He has the size. That's one thing. Blazusiak is relatively tall. David Knight is quite a big man. He can control the bike, and he really fits his hard enduro format by being able to muscle it around, being able to put the skis out, as I like to say. Look at Taddy. Look how slippery it is. Watch the rear of the bike slide around on the 111. Taddy, though, unbelievable performance, and we need to look here to see what the gap is this time around. There he is crossing the line with 3 laps of racing remaining.
Up and over, no problem at all for Taddy Blazusiak.
And on that same line, now is the number 2 of Cody Webb. He's within a straightaway of him, so we'll see.
Well, it was last timed as 14.9 seconds, first to second, and as you say, time ticking away. Blazusiak, he won't have much of an idea except looking over his shoulder, but he hasn't got a moment to look over his shoulder as he goes over some of the 200 tons of rock that have been imported into this quarter-mile circuit. He's trying to pick different lines that he hasn't used before to try and find a line that is just the least damp.
Yes, trying to find some dry dirt. That's Webb on the far right of your screen. David Knight on the left. That is for position second and third place. That is the silver and bronze medal battle. And Webb really has had the speed. In qualifying, he is 2 seconds faster than everybody else. The question is he fast enough in the next 2 laps to be able to catch up to Taddy Blazusiak, but Taddy has been very solid, has looked so fast, and he has not been making mistakes now in the latter half of this main event.
3 different types of motorcycle in the first 3 positions. We've got a KTM leading, we've got a Beta and a Honda battling for second and third position with now 2 laps to go, just half a mile between Blazusiak and what could be his second XGames Enduro Cross Gold.
And Blazusiak looking like he had more than that straightaway lead on Webb, but Webb we can see coming into screen now and then on the number 2, and recently winning the King of the Motos. We talked about that. Cody, oh, and look, a problem for Blazusiak, but he gets it going again. He finds some traction.
As Napoleon said to his generals, be lucky. He was lucky there, but that's the skill with all of the championships that he's got underneath him. That was Max Kirsten having a bit of a moment. Now then, where's second position? It's coming down the rocks there. That is Cody Webb aboard the 2-stroke on the Beta. David Knight's disappeared out of shot. But we reckon he's still in that 3rd position. Haker still in 4th, Robert in 5th, Mike Brown, we haven't mentioned him for a while, Cam, we must. He's in 6th position.
The leaders are tightened up. Here's Blazusiak just going through the second part of the rocks, and Cody Webb is in frame. We're talking about mere seconds separating them, especially with this tough, wet track, and the white flag is out for Blazusiak.
1 more lap to go for the 111. Look how skatey it is as he's not jumping big into those last triple logs. We're looking out for number 2. There he is. That is Webb in 2nd position, and he's got a big gap ahead of David Knight. 2nd for the number 2. Oh! So close again.
Squirrel dogging it just a little bit there.
Into the rocks for the last time for Taddy Blazusiak. He's going to pick a different route again, but that was the easier route that they picked out when they walked the course. He had a moment a lap ago. Over the X, over the top, and he's through, and he keeps it scuttling over the top of the rocks now with just half a lap to go.
And he struggled with this section after the... Oh, and he struggles. He loses traction, but still gets over that log. This is where he's really had the problems coming into this section. I have a feeling we'll see him be very deliberate. He has a bit of a gap here. Just needs to be smart, get enough drive through here. And you can see he's got plenty of gap to make this work. There is 2nd place, but it's not going to be close enough.
Taddy Blazusiak is taking his KTM to gold medal here in the Enduro Cross. That's 2 out of 3 for Blazusiak in the Enduro Cross. Gold in Foz de Iguazú in 2013. 2nd position is going to go to Cody Webb. That is the silver. He takes the medal. Now the battle for 3rds. We wait and we wait to see who's going to come over the line. The last time we reckoned it was David Knight, and Knight does take the bronze medal as a rookie here at XGames. What a result.